Hey guys, I want to talk to you guys today about subtracting polynomials. So far we've dealt with adding polynomials and done pretty well with that. So today I'm going to kind of talk to you about our subtraction and how it's going to be almost identical to our addition, okay? Which seems kind of weird because usually we think of those as the opposites. But for this, the way I'm going to teach it to you, it'll essentially be almost the same thing, okay? So some teachers will talk about how I can just subtract each piece. That gets a little confusing with our signs. So the way that I'm going to kind of talk to you guys or show you guys this is instead of trying to go through the subtraction each piece as we go, what I'm going to teach you is to keep your first polynomial the same. So I'm going to bring this down exactly the same. Nothing's going to change. I'm essentially going to take this negative sign and I'm going to distribute it into my polynomial, okay? And some people are like, well, Mr. Schultz, that gets me kind of confused when I distribute that through. The easiest way to think of this is I'm essentially going to have my first polynomial stay the same. I'm going to flip my sign. Instead of being a minus, it's going to turn into a plus. And then I'm going to flip every sign inside of my parentheses. So here I have a positive 6, so it's going to become a negative 6x. I have a minus 5x, so it's going to turn into a plus 5x. I have a plus 2, so I'm going to change that to a minus 2. And now that I've basically done that, essentially I've gone through and flipped all of my signs here, now I have an addition problem, which we've been practicing, okay? So when you do this, again, if I see a minus in here, I'm going to change my sign to a plus and flip each of the signs inside my parentheses. Only my second parentheses. The first one stays exactly the same. We don't change anything at all about this piece. Okay, so over here then, now I'm going to kind of go through my exact same process that we did with our addition. So I'm going to have my 3x squared plus 4x minus 1. Here, again, I'm matching up like terms. So I have x squared, so this is a minus or negative 6x squared. The x here matches up with my x with a 4x. My constant stays right underneath my constant. Okay. Again, continue to line those up. Again, if there's any gap, I'm just going to plug a 0x or 0 whatever in for that gap. Okay. And I'll do an example of that one here in just a second. All right. So then here I'm going to go through 3 plus negative 6, or 3 minus 6 gives me negative 3x to the second. 4 plus 5 gets me 9x. Negative 1 minus 2 gets me negative 3 or minus 3. And that would be my answer of doing our subtraction of our two trinomials, okay? So again, I kind of went through that one a little bit quickly, but again, I'll go through another problem real quick and kind of see if there's any questions you guys might have. Again, you can always send to me, talk to me in class, okay? So second example of our subtracting polynomials. Hopefully this way kind of makes it pretty simple as far as using it to make it into our addition problems, okay? So if I did, let's say, x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus x plus 5. So now I have a 4-term polynomial. Again, our constant is 5 here. My leading coefficient would be a 1, and the degree of this polynomial is a 4. Our quiz or test will still be talking about each of those individual pieces. I've got a minus, and here I'm just going to do, let's say, 5x squared plus 2x. And let's just leave it at that. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and deal with my problem. So we said the first part, again, my first parentheses when we have subtraction doesn't change. I'm just going to rewrite this. So this is just going to come directly down. I have x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus x plus 5 stays the same. I'm going to flip my sign here and flip my signs inside my parentheses. Okay? So my sign here comes to a plus. Inside, instead of a positive 5, we have a negative 5. Instead of a plus 2, I have a minus 2. So now I have my setup kind of complete. Okay? So again, if you have a subtraction problem, you're going to keep the first, flip your sign, so I had a minus, flip it to a plus, and flip the signs inside of my parentheses. Only the second one. Okay? So now I can go through and set this up, stack them on top of each other. Again, here I have that gap. So I can put a 0 here if I want. So I have like plus 0x to the third minus x. I like to put the 1 in front to remind me that there is a number there, plus 5. Over here I got plus. So then I'm going to line these up underneath of like terms. Okay. So here I have x squared. Let's see there. Oh, I forgot to put in my 3 up here. I'm sorry, guys. So I've got 0x to the third plus 3x squared minus the 1x plus 5. Okay, so in here, I look and I say, okay, well, I have nothing here with these. I do have an x squared. That's a like term here, so I'm going to have minus 5x or negative 5x squared, negative 2x underneath the one that has an x, and I don't have a constant. Okay, so essentially then, as I go through this problem, I'm looking and saying, okay, I've got x to the fourth. There's nothing below it. There's nothing like it, so it comes down as x to the fourth. Okay, here I have 0x to the third. I was just holding that spot in case there was one below. There's nothing down below, so I can just leave this piece out because, again, it's 0. It's not essentially there. So this part, I'm just going to say cancels out. There was nothing like it. Okay, I put it there to hold its spot just in case we have something below. If there is nothing below, then I'm okay. I can just leave it like it is. Then here I've got 3 plus negative 5, or 3 minus 5 gets me negative 2x squared. Took care of my x squareds. Here's my x's. I've got a negative 1 minus 2, so it gets me negative 3x. Again, the 5 has no other constant, so it's just going to come down as a positive 5. And I am done. Okay? Again, it's very, very similar to our addition problems once we do that very first step. Again, reminder, we keep the first parentheses, flip our sign, flip all signs inside my second parentheses. Okay? All right. Again, let me know if you guys ever have any questions. I will see you guys soon.